okay, so what about if, away from the fact that, of course, we shouldn't do anything which is in the grey anyway,
Yeah.
but he says, oh, no, look, I just want to do Forex trading, like, away from, like, do you think it's a good financial thing? Do you think you can make
Oh,
money
you were
from it?
going down that avenue.
I'm asking the questions now. I'm the host.
And I was seeing you post something regularly that irked me. It went against everything I believed in. And in fact, I had a close friend of mine that, we would just watch your content and absolutely hating on you. We were just saying, you know what?
I like that.
I've had enough of this person constantly telling us that getting a mortgage is a bad business idea. It's haram. It's not a good approach. It went against everything we believed in, and it hurt to watch. You were the first person that was telling us the truth. Now, further down the line, we could refer to you as like the pioneer, the first guy that made that move, pushed that initiative. But do you understand how a lot of people at home, that could really disrupt them and hurt them hearing that stuff?
It's interesting, actually, because the reality is, if people are not disagreeing with me, then that means that I'm making a mistake. Because most people are not actually doing financially that well. Most people are struggling in today's day and age. Most people don't have a ton of money. Let's be honest, right? Even the middle class today would argue, the middle class don't really have that much money that they can spend on luxuries, for example. And so, if everyone ended up agreeing with me, that would mean my advice is wrong. Because most people follow the advice of go to school, college, university, get a job, work your way up, promotions, save £500 a month, put money down on a deposit and get a mortgage, and now you're successful. But most people don't have money.
I think that's the harsh reality and harsh truth that it was a pill for us to swallow. Watching your content, me and a good friend of mine were just like, after a while, we're like, he's speaking facts. We don't want to hear it, but everything we've been told about saving your money, working up to getting that mortgage and eventually having an asset, that was the whole concept we had on security, right? That's what was fed to us. And I remember asking you an interesting question when we first linked up, and we spoke for hours. And I asked you what your view was on financial security, because what you were saying just opposed all our beliefs, right? A house isn't security. We're like, that doesn't make sense. So I want to see if your perspective has changed over the years. What is financial security to you?
Financial security, what is it to me? Okay, financial security, I think for me, is having money in the bank, having cash. Cash is king, and especially in today's day and age, cash is king. And so having money in my bank is definitely, I would say, to an element, financial freedom, right? But also having businesses that make money. Because you could have £50,000 in your bank account, not be making more money, and you might clean that out in a year. So it's important to make money as well as have money. So, again, having money in the bank account is subjective. Someone might have £1,000 in the bank account. But I would say for me, if I had £50,000 in my bank account and I have 2 or 3 businesses at least making multiple incomes, to me, anything after that now is the game that I enjoy.
That sounds like good financial security. That sounds like the way forward. But you touched upon something earlier, and you spoke about how all the information everyone's been fed, everyone's on the wrong path, things we've been taught about in school. It's all kind of been a lie about being financially successful. And I want to tap into like your background, where you come from, ethnic minority background, Muslim parents, grew up with some conservative values from the content you've displayed. What allowed you to have that mental shift in which everyone's doing the wrong thing and you said, forget them, I'm not doing any of that. I'm going about my own path?
I think there's definitely an element of things fell into place for me. I'll explain. Growing up, again, you're right. I was the average kid who wanted to do well in maths, English, science, whatnot. I wanted to be in top set, because my mom and dad would be happy if I was in top set. You know them ones when you go
Yeah.
to parents' evening and your mom's like, "Are you in top set?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm in top set."
It was a scary time. Parents
one
think it
time
was
they put
scary.
me in middle set. It was peak for me at that point.
You have to make up lies.
But yeah, trust me, I have to get rid of that. That parents' evening slip that you have to get signed for the parents.
You gotta say, oh no, it's just temporary. They made a mistake.
But what ended up happening, man, is I got into recruitment. I started working a job in recruitment when I was basically as soon as I left university.
Yeah.
In fact, I got the job offer before I even graduated. And so I stayed in recruitment for 5 years, but I started on, let's say 80, I think it was 18 or 19,000 basic, with commission. First year I made like 30 grand. And I say this in the most humbling way, but by the third or fourth year, I was making there or there about £70,000 a year. So whatever that is, like I was making like 3.5 grand, touching 4 grand a month, basically, after tax.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that in a boastful way. What I'm saying is because I made that money at 24, 25, it opened my mind. I saw things that most people see when they hit 40 or 50, generically speaking. So when I was making that money, that meant that I realized how tax works, how much deductions go out, how much, for example, how far that money actually lasts in a month. Got me thinking, if I had a wife, if I had children, would it be the same? And that's when I was like, this isn't right. Like, no matter how hard I work, because there was a point where I was making £50,000 a year, I worked my back off. Honestly, I worked so hard. 3-4 months later, I got to £70,000 again. Now that's massive. I completely understand that's massive. But a month, maybe that was like, 1,000, 700, 800, 900 pound extra a month. But for the amount of effort that I put in, I just didn't believe it was the same. And that's exactly where it shifted, because I realized that no matter how hard I work in a job, the return is just not the same.
Okay. That's actually very interesting, because do you remember that conversation we had about salaries? And I came to you in a similar position. I was a similar age, and I told you I got this new job and my salary's now been doubled, right? And I was quite excited. I thought, at that sort of age, that sort of money, I thought, yeah, this is it. This is what society taught me, that you've made it now. You have this corporate job paying you X amount and you're now in this field. And there was something that I said that was very financially illiterate. And it's something that a lot of people know, right? That you get taxed, you have to pay all of this stuff. But when my salary doubled, the money that I was taking home did not double. And I was like, to the point in which I remember I even messaged HR thinking there's something wrong. I was like, wait a second, my salary's been doubled, but there's not been a significant change, right? Like, you'd think you'd go taking home from 3 to 6. Nah. It's like, you've added an extra grand or a couple hundred even on a 10K salary increase, right? So when you experienced that, was it the same shock at first, where you're like, this isn't the money that they were telling me I was meant to experience?
Yeah, man, of course. Like, I think it's crazy, because I actually do believe a lot of people, the first time they hear about tax or understand tax is actually the first time they get their payslip from their job.
Yeah.
Which sounds nuts, because that's such a big part of your life. But the first time you see that or understand how that tax side works is basically when you start your first job, and sometimes your manager where you're working explains to you exactly how tax works. That's nuts.
It's actually insane, and it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because I'm here at work messaging HR saying, wait, this can't be right. The amount of NI you took out, national insurance, what? I thought that was like £30, £50. Like, now my salary's gone up and they're taking all of this. I thought something's wrong here. And it's so, financially illiterate to make those statements, but I feel like it's a bubble that everyone lives in.
Yeah.
And they're in that headspace. Now, touching upon that and like building yourself. So let's say a lot of people are now in that position, right? Where, they're making decent money, or supposedly what is called decent money. What allows them to now make that transition? What helps you with that mental shift? If I take myself, for example, I'd say I'm someone that is relatively quite risk adverse. I've kind of fallen into that security in terms of my salary, that money coming in every month, waiting on it, like a lot of people experience. And I'm quite institutionalized in that sense, right? You know, gone to school, do well academically, and you're going to be rewarded, right? And it's hard to just oppose that norm. Let's say now everyone's understood this, they've now built their financial literacy. A lot of people watching your content want to make that next step, right? What would you say gave you that mental shift, and how can they do that?
Okay, so one, definitely, obviously, what I just told you in terms of when I started seeing my pay not really increase as much as the effort I was putting in, that was definitely a part of it. Second, actually, it's quite interesting. I think what definitely helped is my wife. And that might be a little bit random, but I'll explain.
Threw me off.
I started my company, as in I quit my job and started my company in October. I can't even remember the year, 2020, I guess it would be. No, 2019, right? And I got married. My nikah is in October, basically. So I started my company at the same time as I actually got married, basically. Now, there was no pressure from my wife or my in-laws or anyone in terms of that, oh, he needs to be making X, or he needs to be, he needs to be in a certain situation. And so I guess what I'm saying is risk, where does it come from? Something is risky because if it doesn't go your way, then the cons of that affect you a lot, for example. So for example, if today you're working a job and you're paying the bills in your house and everyone depends on you, then the risk is much greater than if you don't have a family that basically you're paying for, if you don't have rent that you pay for, if you're alone, if you're single, then the risk is much less, right? So what I'm saying is, when I got married to my wife isn't actually materialistic.
Yep.
She doesn't expect a lot. Actually, she's very simple. That meant that I knew, even if I'm making £1,000 a month, my wife's still my wife and she's not going to care.
And you're good.
She honestly isn't going to care.
Yeah.
So I was happy to take the risk. And that definitely has helped me over the years in, taking risks, because my family, my wife, no one really is as such dependent on me. I think dependency can definitely be a factor to why someone might not do something.
I think the way you broke down risk is so interesting, because it's made me reflect on myself and kind of realize, you know what? I could go for something and there isn't much to lose. Do you think people experience an illusion of risk because a lot of young people might be in a situation where, they've got used to their salary, their income, and they actually do have the opportunity to take risks? What do you think makes people that risk adverse? Because after you broke it down, it sounded like a no-brainer. You've got nothing to lose. You could always go back to your job, apply for another job.
Look, again, it's about risk. I was going to say it's also all about risk management, but then we're going to go into the trading thing. Yeah. But what I was going to say is it is about risk management. And what I mean by that is, today, for example, you're single, you're not married, for example. If you get married, your risk increases.
Yes.
If you have responsibilities, your risk is lower. The more you have to do, your risk is higher. Having said that, again, risk managing in the sense of, let's say you're working a job. Okay, do you have evenings free? Do you have your lunch break? Do you have your weekends? Well, you do. You have them free. Mm-hmm. And so, doing something, even 1 or 2%, is better than doing nothing. And some people have this thing of, oh, well, I'm working a job and so I can't do anything. That's not true, because, okay, you're working a job, but you can still do something in the evening, in the weekends. You can start doing something. And by start doing something, that might lower your risk, right? And that might allow you to, let's say, for example, you start a business, you're not making any money, you start working the evenings and the weekends, and maybe 15 minutes at lunch. 5-6 months later, as long as you're consistent, because consistency is key, you might start making £400-500. That £400-500 might be the reason that you actually end up leaving and actually doing it full time. So
just that initiative.
Risk management, eh?
Risk management. There's actually something that there's one main reason in which I brought you on this podcast.
Sure.
Right? You've placed a lot of your values, which are rooted in religion, at the forefront of what you do.
Yes.
Which has kind of made it very different from the norm of people that are financially successful or talk about being financially successful and aspiring to those things. Right? I come from that conservative religious household as well, where it's like, if you're religious and pious, you shouldn't be thinking about money so much, or you shouldn't be earning so much, or as in you had to choose between enjoying things in this life to dedicating to the afterlife. Do you think that is a misconception? And, you know, you could be religious, uphold your values, and drive an amazing car and do these things that you know, might want to do?
Yeah, of course, because it's relative, isn't it? I mean, you know, if someone, again, I'm not saying this is me, but I'm giving an example. If someone's making £100,000 a month and they spend £5,000 on luxuries, are they being lucrative? No, not really. They're spending they're spending 5% of what they make, right? So now today, if someone is making £3,000 a month and they're spending £2,800 a month, you would say they're living within their means.
It's true,
right? So it's relative, like how much you're making, how much you're giving back. If you're making £100,000 a month and you're giving £50,000 in charity, and then you're spending £15,000 on luxuries,
yeah,
and I don't know what you're doing with 35,000, but let's say it's reinvested back into businesses. Is that person being lucrative? I don't think so. I think that person is living below their means.
it's true. I completely agree. I think it's about that balance, right? Not getting lost in it, upholding those values. And I wanted to ask you something about those religious values of yours, right? You've constantly promoted it and you have never acted like it's been a hindrance in your goals, right? Now, having to avoid things like interest, you've openly put your opinion out there and all of those sort of things. Do you think it's hindered your potential progression? Or, you know, a lot of people when scaling a business, right, they consider taking out a loan. You know, I've got my business to this level. I need to scale it like this. I need to open more offices. Common challenges that, you know, can make Muslims feel like they don't have a choice but to indulge in interest. So that's what was really interesting about your story and what you do.
Yeah, I think it all comes from, look, man, like risk, it comes from Allah Azza wa Jalla. And so, you know, for us to pretend that, you know, it's all under our ways and how we make money and stuff, that's not true. Obviously, we know that as Muslims. And so we know that obviously if we stay away from the haram, then, you know, there's barakah in our money and so on and so forth. And so it's obvious that, you know, it's not as if you're in control of your money. Yeah. If we pretend now, oh, okay, everything that I do is a direct reason of why I make money, that's not true, right? Allah can open up a door for you just because you are staying away from the haram. And I've seen that many a times, in fact, to be honest, you know. I've seen it where doors have opened up for me because I stay away from haram and I have tried to stay away and, you know, kept my money permissible. I have seen things that I thought, this is 100%, this is a blessing. This is nothing but Allah's doing, basically, which everything is. But so I would say that rizq comes from Allah. We have to have that yaqeen in Allah Azza wa Jalla and, you know, stay away from what isn't permissible.
I agree, man. Those principles are in line with mine, and that's why I find your story and what you do so inspiring. And I want to go into more about what you do. I feel like now people have got an opportunity to understand your journey,
Sure.
your principles, your background. Now a lot of people thinking, what does this guy actually do day to day? And I want to talk about your recruitment expertise. What inspired you making a course? When did you start realize you can make money off this? Because I got to watch your journey throughout each transition, right? You saying you starting off in your little office, then wanting to move to Dubai. How did you map this out and execute everything?
So it's interesting, actually, because obviously a lot of people know me for, again, as we know, people get judged for today and not yesterday, right? Yep. And so you've known me for 4 years. Let's just assume that it's been about 4 years. It's there or thereabouts. And that's the amount of time I've been uploading on social media. And in the beginning, I still remember I was in my tiny office. I'd make like videos and I'd say, guys, you know, you can do this as well. And to be honest, there wasn't at that time, there wasn't that much to boast about, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't me boasting as such, but it was me saying, jobs are fake, you know, like you need to leave and do something for yourself. Yeah. And I was talking about the things that, you know, I can go pray the dhuhr and in the masjid and I can just chill there for an hour and no one's going to stop me. Yeah. And it was funny because I started doing this thing, which completely I don't advise. In the beginning, when I started my company, I was like, I'm going to have a nap. I'm going to have a nap at lunch because I can. And I don't actually think it was helping my productivity as such, but it was just like,
but you know what? You can.
Because I can.
Yeah, you can.
I'm not going to lie, those naps banged still. But the point being is like, when I was having those, I was telling people about these things, have a nap, being able to pray dhuhr, etc., etc. But obviously I was still working on my company.
Yeah.
And so, it was just a case of, continue doing consistency is everything, man. Like, I can't emphasize enough how consistency is everything. And there's videos of me like in my tiny office, and there's videos of
I
me
remember.
yeah,
I
exactly,
remember.
you know what I mean? Then there's videos of me like going into a bigger office, hiring people.
Yeah.
We touched on it earlier, and I mean, to be fair, I might seem like I'm boasting, but I hired some people just because it would have made it easier for them to be Muslims in the environment,
Yes.
right? And I felt like if I hired this person, Allah would bless the business. And I genuinely felt like Allah did bless the business because I hired certain people because it would be easier for them to be Muslims, you know? And we grew. And obviously, look, I'll ask you a simple question. I don't go around talking about how much money I make and, you know, I do this and that sort of thing. But if you've got 5 people employed and you're paying them £2,000, you're paying £10,000 in salaries.
Yeah.
So you better be making more than £2,000.
You better be making money,
You better be making more than
£10,000
to justify spending £10,000 on salaries.
yeah.
And then the office rent, and then the expenses of running the company. You're looking at 15 grand minimum.
Yeah.
So, the question is someone doing okay? Obviously, if they're spending 15 grand in expenditure, they must be doing all right, right?
If you know, you know.
If you know,
you don't need to talk too much.
If I talk,
it'll be a big trouble. If we talk, we'll be in big trouble. But yeah, like, I think it's so authentic because as a viewer at home, watching your content, I'm seeing start off in a small office in High Wycombe. You got this little location. You're saying, I'm hiring my first person. I hired someone, started off this, started off that. And it's so authentic, right? A lot of people wouldn't dare, promote that sort of content, put it out there until they've made it, right? And that's common across many industries, right? If someone is overweight, they're not going to start saying, every day this is what I'm doing for fitness. And a lot of the time it's just a before and after. You don't really get to see what that person was doing.
I think, it's crazy. Actually, I think it's having yaqeen in Allah Azza wa Jal and putting the effort in and really believing in your ability. I'll give you a exclusive. We started an office in Pakistan 3 months ago. Currently, we have just under 10 people employed under our books, right? In 6 months, inshallah, again, I say inshallah, we'll have over 100 people employed in 6 months. Now, I'm putting this out there, not because I'm boasting as such, but because I know the ability, I know that, okay, I know what I need to do, I know, etc., etc. Now, look, it might not take 6 months. It might take a year.
Yeah.
But a year later, we'll look back at this and say, well, he did say he'll do it.
And he did it.
And, and a lot of my content, if you look back at it, it's, I want to do something in Pakistan. Today, I'm doing something in Pakistan. I want to, leave the UK and go to Dubai. Today, alhamdulillah, we're in Dubai sort of thing, So a lot of the stuff, it is, don't just make these claims. Make the claims and do it. And people see that through the content. And I think that's nice.
Okay. Interesting. And I think it was just mind-boggling to watch, right? Just seeing you make these statements. There's more money to be made in Pakistan than the UK. It's easier to live there. Like, I fell into that group. And I'm sorry to say, even as your boy, couple times I'm watching your stuff and I'm saying, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you're going to go Pakistan and set up this business and it's going to be more lucrative than opportunities in the UK? I'm just thinking, okay, you've done well. Don't get me wrong, but you're getting ahead of yourself. Like,
see, it's interesting, man. Like, it's interesting because, and I'm glad, honestly, bro, because like I said right in the beginning, if people don't disagree with me, I'm doing something wrong. And if everyone if everyone agreed with me, then I won't be making money because everyone would be making money. And if everyone's making money, there's less for me.
Less for you.
Right? And I get, and I'll put that in perspective. People would have said to me and did say to me a year, 2 years ago, you can't make money in Pakistan. It doesn't make sense, etc., etc. Well, I'll ask you a question. Tell me a country today that has probably grown the most in the last 5 years. Tell me a country. Grown the most in the last 5 years and today is either a superpower or very close to being a superpower. Can you think of one? Tell me a country. What comes to your mind?
Dubai.
Okay, no.
But
I'll tell you. India.
Oh, yeah. That's a good shout.
India are doing bits everywhere. You're killing it. You know what I mean? Now, India 20 years ago, a lot of the economy was focused around agriculture, right? Today, rather 10 years ago, they made a huge shift into services. What that basically means is, think about it, a lot of the IT side came from India. A lot of the support side came from India. A lot of, companies outsource their work to India. Now, if that model could make a country go from that growth and can help that grow so much, then I'm saying the same thing, but for a different country. You know what I mean? And I'm not here trying to play little games, man. Like, I'm talking about a whole country in 10 years has changed because of a certain model. I'm just trying to mimic that in Pakistan.
Big moves. And you know what?
Inshallah.
This time it's a bit different.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a 1 year time. This time in 10 years time,
Inshallah.
we see Pakistan as a superpower. Inshallah.
Inshallah. You know,
Gonna know you said it first.
next Imran Khan and that. Nah, but I can't lie. I won't get into politics.
Yeah,
Politics
it's
and me don't
sticky,
go.
right? It don't
Nah.
mix well.
I'm happy just being in my business, bro. Because you know what?
But
It's
you,
not
I
the
think you'll
politics.
be good though.
It's not. Listen. See, this is a mistake.
You're
Do you know who
good.
who runs the countries though? Is it the politicians or the business people? There
Businessman.
you go then. You know what I mean?
Hear it. That's why you'll be good at politics. Yeah, man. And I put it out there, right? Where I was like, I'm interviewing you.
Yeah.
Number one, the response that I got from interviewing you was insane.
Okay.
Like, it was way, like, I've interviewed people that might have a bigger following, stuff like that. And the amount of people that had questions to ask you, like, I'll be doing them injustice if I don't ask. So what makes you have such a loyal following and such an invested following? That's something that came to my mind.
Look, man, I don't know. Obviously, it's the love of the people, and I appreciate the love of the people.
Shout out to the people, man.
Shout out to the people, man. I think one thing definitely, man. Like, I have always tried to stick to the usul, bro.
Yeah.
I don't shy away from it. You know, something is haram, it's haram. If something I am doing is wrong, I will come out and I will say, listen, mistake, boom, I'm wrong, cut it. I don't care. Like, you know, the thing for me, like, and you will watch all my content, bro. And you look today, right? Can I make more money doing haram? Of course I can, but I would never do that because it's never about the money. I've always said you make money to be a better Muslim, right? And I've stuck with that one message for 4 years, you know, and I will, inshallah, for as long as I can, you know, for inshallah, as long as Allah allows, I'll continue pushing that message that it's just a case of staying away from haram, making money to be a better Muslim. You know, and
I respect that.
No, and today, look, man, like, listen, I rent out a Lamborghini, yeah?
Yeah.
$2,000 a month,
Yeah.
$2,000 a day rather.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I afford to pay $2,000 a day? Without being boastful, yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that going to get me views? Yes, it will. I have always said this. I would much rather get less views, but say what is true and give benefit than go for the views. It doesn't benefit me. I don't care.
And the reason why that's facts is because you have a course.
Yeah.
You have a recruitment course, how to get into recruitment consultancy, how to set up your own business.
Yeah.
And it is one of the very, very few courses, if not only course I know out there. And this isn't me just trying to promote your stuff, but it's genuinely the only course I know out there that hasn't been promoted based on lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's been promoted in, you know, the things that you want to do and the genuine stuff where you've said, and I remember the stories vividly where you're like, oh, a family member was ill.
Yes.
And I wanted to obtain that sort of freedom where I could spend time with them while they're ill without work having to call me and say, when you coming back, and all of these sort of issues. It's been things that, you know, people can relate to, but we live in a very consumeristic, you know, social media driven society. If we see the watch, the car, it will sell way more.
100%.
Even though your content might be more valuable than someone else's that promotes the lifestyle, you haven't gone down that route, which is something that I respect that you're uphold of, and it's transparent.
Bro, it's crazy, but like, it's so crazy, yeah. I'll tell you something. Like,
Every TikTok that I scroll through, right, I'll just see, Airbnb business, 6 figure a month,
You know what,
and
I'm
I
gonna tell
don't
you-
drive a Lambo.
I'll tell you
it's
something.
killing me, bro.
Let's do this. I'm gonna do this.
I'm
live.
at home
I'm gonna do
in
this.
my bedroom. It's killing me.
I'm gonna do this live example. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, and just for the viewers, so they can understand that how much meaning this point has. So on my Instagram, on my story views, right? Let's say on average I get 2,500 views. Okay. The other day, I put on this Rolex, right? Which I'm gonna put on, like, I'm just gonna show you guys right now as well, yeah. And I guarantee people will stop at that point to look at the Rolex as well, right? And that same story got 6,500 views, 3 times more than what I usually get, right? And so, like, this is just a dead Rolex, basically, yeah, that I wear on a daily. Yeah, it's a date just, it's a dead one, basically.
It's
Yeah,
a day to day.
but for people, it's like, you're wearing a Rolex,
Yeah.
8 grand, 9 grand. What?
They don't even know.
Crazy.
Yeah,
You know, if I made a reel about just this Rolex,
yeah.
maybe 20, 30K views. You know, it's just crazy how lifestyle sells like that. And people will be like, oh, you know, like, well, I could have 4 of these watches. In fact, I do have 4 of these watches.
Yeah.
But I don't sit there being like, look at my 4 watches.
Yeah.
Look at me in my house. In fact, you know what I say? I say, don't judge me for the things I wear, the things that I drive. In fact, I'll tell you something. In fact, this is exclusive. Inshallah, this is going to come out after I've gone anywhere. I'm going to Pakistan tomorrow, okay? This is important. The viewers need to understand this, right? What is going to give you happiness, okay, is not the Lamborghinis, not the Ferraris, not the big houses. Tomorrow, I am going to Pakistan for business, okay? I'm flying. I pay for my child to go. I'm paying for my wife to go. I'm paying for my mum to go. I'm paying for my dad to go. We're going to Dubai first, and we're going to Pakistan after, okay? Even if we say we're going in an economy, you guys can do the maths. And then we're staying in Dubai and we're staying in Pakistan, right? We don't have our own house in Pakistan, and therefore I need to get a house in Pakistan as well. So now I'm making a point here. I would much rather spend my money creating memories with my family and spending time with my family than spending a two grand on a car. I don't care. But I tell you something, right? Wallahi, I say something. I will not regret spending time with my parents. Bro, I will not regret spending 2 grand for my mum and dad to come out to Pakistan with me. I carry on my business. I come home in the evening and my mum's sitting there. And I can chat to my mum for 10 minutes. Like I say, when she's gone, that 10 minutes is going to be the most valuable thing in life, way more than anything that I possess.
100%.
So
that values can't quantify.
Brother, the flex is not materialistic things. The flex is being able to spend time with your family, being able to create memories with your family. Last year, I went on maybe 5 holidays, but my biggest flex is I did it with my parents. I took my biggest flex last year was not how I made so much money. I took my parents to Umrah. Inshallah, we'll go again. That's the biggest flex. So there was something deep you said that is very much in line with that, and it's how much you value your time to be able to do those things. I'll be honest, I couldn't sleep at night properly from when I heard what you said, because it just opened up my eyes, right? And you were talking about how, you know, mentorship opportunities, even if someone paid you 2 grand for an hour, right? I remember you said, even if someone paid you 2 grand for an hour's work, I wouldn't do it. And I said, what? You've lost your mind. Like, if you pay me 2 grand for an hour, I'll do a lot. Yeah.
You get it?
Okay.
I'll do a lot of different, whatever needs to be done. I'm working hard, rolling up the sleeves, cleaning toilets, whatever. 2 grand an hour, money. But you said I wouldn't do that. I was just like, what? Yeah. And then the answer you gave me, you could just go ahead and say it was nuts. I couldn't sleep.
You know, so I'll put it further. I wouldn't do it for 10 grand an hour. I'll go further than that. I'll say 50 grand an hour. I still would not do it. I still would not do it.
What do you mean? 50, bro?
I wouldn't do it.
You know what you could do?
I'm going to tell you something. And let me explain this now, right? Let me explain this. £50,000 an hour, okay? But I have to turn up and sit through something in the hour, and that hour doesn't have growth potential, and that hour isn't going to lead me to, that 50 grand isn't going to turn into a bigger amount later on.
It's just a job.
It takes my time. As in, I have to sit there. Let's say it's a call. Let's say someone is going to pay me £50,000 to sit on a Zoom call and teach them business. I wouldn't do it. And I'll explain this. One is time before. The time before, it has to come in. The time after has to come in. Okay? One. After a certain amount of money doesn't hold value anymore. And I'm going to give you another exclusive. I'll say it in the most humbling way, right? After you start making a certain amount of money does not hold that value anymore. Time does. So if today I'm making, for example, 50 grand a month, okay? And I believe that, bro, no matter what, I can't spend more than £50,000. Like, I can't spend more than £50,000 a month, for example. Physically. Yeah. Let's say, for example, right? Yeah. I can have the nicest car, the nicest house, the nicest villa. You know, we go out every day. We eat out in the nicest restaurants. Well, what's a restaurant? Nice restaurant. £200? For £300? Cool, I'll pay it. Like, the point is this. I can't spend more than £50,000, right? But now someone calls me and says, sit with me for 1 hour. I want to speak to you at 6 p.m. and I'll pay you 50 grand. say, nah, I'm not really interested because, I want to go out with my family. I want to go out. And he says to me, I'll pay you that 1 hour. I'll just say, no, but I don't need more money.
Yeah.
I don't need more. But
Yeah.
I like my time with my child, me chilling with you here. I like chilling with you, bro.
Yeah.
We came here before we got into the car.
Trust me, I'm not paying him no 50 grand. This is not 50 grand an hour,
check
bro.
this though.
Don't be sending me no invoice after this, my brother. I ain't got
But what
that.
I'm saying is this now. Check this. I enjoy my time with you.
Yeah.
I'm happy, bro. Okay, let me just put some clarity on it. It just doesn't attract me. The money where I have to give my time for an X amount, it just doesn't attract me because it doesn't hold that much more value for me now.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I say alhamdulillah. Of course, there might come a time that it does. There might come a time that this mindset changes. Why? Because now I need to give my time for money. But now I just don't feel like I need to give my time for money. Going home and spending 10 minutes with my child and him smiling at me is worth an unlimited amount. And I'll sum it up with this, and I'll close it on this. Why this point is important. When your mother leaves you and when your father leaves you, and there's going to come a point where our parents have to go because, as we know, our time here is limited, right? When they go, you will give away every single penny that you have. Let's say you're a billionaire. You'll give every single penny you have for one more day with your mom. One more day with your dad.
Every penny.
So time is the most valuable thing. There is no denying that.
I respect that, man. That answer shocked me because I was in such a mentality where it's like, how do I make more money? Affiliate it with time. How can I make more money within a set period of time, right? It was so intertwined, whereas like, if I'm making £100 an hour, it's a great life. If I'm making £1,000 an hour, it's a great life. But you just showed me like, none of that is a great life in comparison to having that freedom and ability to do what you want with your time.
So
right?
now I'm going to contradict myself now. And people are going to be like, oh, we got him.
Yeah, we figured it out.
I wouldn't give an hour for 50 grand, right? But I would work my backside off, okay, for £2,000 a month. But as long as after that month, I don't have to do anything ever again.
So you just get £2,000 a month.
I just get my £2,000 a month and I don't have to ever do anything again. So I'm willing to put in the effort for something which doesn't require more effort later on. And those are the only businesses I touch now where I don't have to continuously put in effort at a later point. Those are the only businesses I do now.
But that's not to do with any monetary or financial value. What you've done is you're willing to sacrifice a bit of time to get more time later.
Exactly.
So you've exchanged time for time, not money for your time.
Exactly.
That's insane. I respect that. My mind's you know what? Chilling with you is always gems, man. My mind is always like,
Barakallah feek, bro.
oh, Mubarak, man. It's always valuable. And that's why I needed to get you on this podcast. 'Cause everyone needs to hear this.
Yeah.
Like everyone's, I don't know. Maybe people are saying, I hope these are.
I can't lie, bro. I can't lie. I mean, the sort of conversations we're having right now, well, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had on another podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think like, it's important, and because there's only so much you can get out on. Look, me saying I'm sick, I'm successful, listen to me is different.
Yeah.
You asking me the question based on a conversation we had 4 years ago shows that actually there's some legitimacy to what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
History.
Yeah, of course.
And I know you. So
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, of
like
course.
it's real. And for me, it's a real experience seeing you grow like that. There's one thing that I wanted to dive deeper into where you said you've constantly put your religious values at the forefront and you feel like that's been a big driving factor to your success, right? Constantly said what's halal, what's haram, right? Recently, you've been going on a frenzy, bro. You've been gunning down the Forex thing saying it's haram, which has always been an opinion of yours and I've seen it in the past. I've followed your content for a long time, so maybe other people won't be as familiar. But I've always seen you mention mortgages being haram. And in this particular time, you're really going at Forex and explicitly stating it is haram without considering other opinions. And at first, I'll be honest with you, bro. And this is deep. It didn't sit right with me, right? Like, I have a close friend of mine that is involved in that, side of things. And I feel like it's easy to affiliate it to you because that's a close friend of ours, a good brother of ours. Now, when I'm seeing you gun at this content, right, I'm thinking, you must know that it's going to impact him in some way, or there is a light that is being shed there. What made you now feel like you can do this?
Okay, so I think it's important to put some context into obviously what we're talking about, because otherwise the picture is a bit blurry, right?
Yeah, true.
So I have spoken about Forex for years. There's videos of me on YouTube telling people, look, Forex is not okay, it's not permissible, there's this wrong with it. And by the way, I've always run it by people of knowledge and explained to them what Forex is, right? And explained to them once explaining it to them, and they've explained to me in return why it's not permissible as well, okay? So that's one thing.
Okay.
So obviously what we're referring to...
So just to clarify, these are not your opinions. These are opinions you get from your scholars.
Of course, I go to the people of knowledge.
Yeah.
I explain Forex. They explain why it's not permissible. And, we have a discussion.
It's just we need to make that stuff clear.
Yeah, of course. I agree.
Before they say, Abu Musa gave me this fatwa.
Nah,
you get
nah,
it?
nah,
So
I don't give no fatwa myself. And so I think it's very important to understand something, that my issue is not with a person. My issue is not with anyone. It is just with Forex in itself, because it's not permissible, right? And so, and to give some clarity, obviously a lot of the people watching this will know that Ustad Abdurrahman Hassan, about a year and a half ago, put out a video and said that Forex is permissible.
Yes.
I have to be honest, I was baffled. I was taken back, because I think Ustad is, I look up to Ustad. I think Ustad is, Allahumma barik, shares huge gems, someone of knowledge I take from Ustad. And so I was a bit taken back, to be honest. And I think, at the in that moment, to be fair, I even tried having a conversation with Ustad, but nothing came off it. I actually was willing to have a 10-minute discussion, explain exactly why it's haram.
Yeah,
like that's how much I believed it. Didn't make sense.
It was so clear cut to you.
Yeah, it was so clear cut.
Okay,
it was so clear cut where even people after would ask me, and I would say, my opinion has always been the same.
Yeah,
it is not permissible. And I've said this. Many people would know. Even after in the last year have said, I don't believe Forex to be permissible. Yeah. But clearly there's this other opinion. Clearly there's this other opinion. I have to be honest, I don't get it, because that's why I'm saying it's not permissible. I believe it not to be permissible based on the conversations I've had and the explanations, etc., etc. So then when Ustad Abdurrahman Hassan came out and said it was a mistake and so on and so forth, and may Allah accept everything from Ustad, whatever it was and whatever that situation was, he clarified basically. Now,
so it wasn't you trying to be controversial. Just to make it clear, it was more of you being genuine. You had respect for the Ustad.
Yes.
You had respect for any opinions that he made.
Yes.
Hence why you went quiet for a certain period of time regarding
it. Yeah, because obviously, look, where we feel like there's a difference of opinion, I'm not gonna now push my opinions down other people's throats. If people upon the truth are coming out and saying there's another opinion, then who am I? Like, this is way above my pay package, right? Like we're talking about Champions League stuff, and I'm there like in the academy and stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm not even academy, bro. Like 5-a-side, bro.
You got a knee injury, man, in Power League.
So I'll be honest, man. So but then when that video came out, I started looking into the issue more. And this is something I want to clarify as well. I started looking into the issue even more. And I realized not only is Forex in itself not permissible, but also a lot of the people these days are using prop firms and going down the whole funded traders and that sort of route. Anyone who understands how this stuff works, I was like, if these questions are being asked in the right way, I don't think anyone of knowledge would say this is permissible. It doesn't make any sense. Because in essence, what a prop firm is, and when people say that you can become a funded trader, is, do these challenges with this prop firm, become successful in these prop firm challenges, which 90% of people are not successful in these challenges. You then become a funded trader, and they give you a 100K account, right? Now, what people were painting it as is it's actually $100,000 of real money. But that $100,000 is never real. It doesn't exist. So when they say you're a 100K funder, you're funded to 100K.
Six-figure trader.
Six-figure trader, right?
That's the line.
Six-figure trader.
That's the line,
It's not true. You don't have that money. In fact, those are just numbers on a computer on a system. And it's very logical. If anyone thinks, no, they do have the money. By the way, companies themselves have come out and said, we don't have that money. Companies themselves have said, we make money from the money that is paid to us from the sign-ups that
Wow.
come to us to these prop firms. They say that themselves.
So
There's
it's
no
essentially
hiding.
a Ponzi.
That's exactly what a Ponzi is. That's a Ponzi scheme. Search what a Ponzi scheme is. A Ponzi scheme is where the company basically pays out their customers through the people that sign up to them. That's exactly what a Ponzi is.
Yeah.
I won't say, but that's what I'll stay away from the fact that that itself is a Ponzi. But you make that decision yourself. So when I started looking into it more, it became evident that not only is this haram, if the money isn't there, if no one is giving you this money, and like I was going to say very logically, if you're getting funded 100K, a lot of these people will know there's thousands and thousands of people with these prop firms. Okay?
Yes.
So do 1,000 times 100K.
Do the maths.
That's 100 million. These companies do not have 100 million in their bank accounts.
You could, and that's easy to find out.
You can easily find that out. And these companies have been around for 2 years, 3 years. The longest one, by the way, my Forex funds has been around for 3 years, right? Who have now been closed down, right? US, regulations, whatnot, they've shut them down. So here we are talking about something and we're like, yeah, we're going to become rich. But really, regulations and everything is kicking in and these prop firms are getting in trouble. And there's another, I forgot the name now, I think it's Deal. They're a payment processor for the prop firms that process the payments. Now they've said that they are, for majority of the prop firms, they're not going to process the payments because it's too risky of a business and, they want to stay away from that.
Yeah.
So a lot of these prop firms will shut down. In fact, the experts ask anyone in this industry and they will say that prop firms are not going to be around forever. Make use of them while they're here, right? That's the advice that is given, by the way. And thirdly, the advice that will be given is, just use prop firms from Dubai or UK because they're less regulated. That's the advice you guys are going on. Like, how to make money, this is the advice. Don't use a company from there. Use a company from there, less risky. Come on, that's how you want to make money now? So not only are these things scams, not only are these things a joke thing, but of course, because this money doesn't actually ever exist, it's haram because you're trading something, you're trading a derivative, right? You're trading something which doesn't exist. But take this information, the fact that when you're a funded trader, you don't have the money, they don't actually give you the money, you can't take that money out, it doesn't even exist. Take this information to your people of knowledge, see what they say themselves.
Well, you summed it up in an insane way. And it's something I always kind of thought about and crossed my mind when I was like, do these companies have these funds? These are, such large accounts. And it's easy to just consume what you see, right? You see loads of people, having 6-figure trader in their bios. What does that insinuate? Do they have 6 figures in their bank account? Because that's how the normal layman will interpret things, right? Whereas I'm like, okay, cool. They may have just put £200, £300, whatever it is, in order to purchase, this funded account and whatever. And then now there's a 6-figure trader.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's part of using social media marketing, and I understand the game and I don't judge it too much. I think as I got older, I kind of get it. People want to promote certain things, or people want to leverage it to do as they please. But
yeah, and I think it's important here to mention as well, because those that know about our Ustad Abdul Rahman Hassan video will also know about Urimi University.
Yeah,
basically, right? And Nasir.
Yes.
And I just want to make this clear, man. Like, it's never about me versus Nasir. In fact, I have genuine love for the brother. In fact, I actually have sincere love for the brother, and I think the brother's extremely a great guy.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's just about that Forex isn't okay.
And your beliefs.
It's okay. It's about the fact that when you're using these prop firms, you're going down a route which isn't okay, and you're not going to make money. I have love for it's the same way. If my brother ended up doing something and fell into what wasn't okay, I would still say it's not okay though.
Yeah.
Even though I have love for my brother.
He's still your brother.
He's still my brother.
Still
He's
love.
still my brother. It's still love, right?
Yeah.
But the same way I've made videos about this 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, now is why I make why I am now, and why I will continue to do so. Why? Because my content has always been about stay away from the haram ways, stay away from the schemes, stay away from these, get rich quick things, and just make money, learn business, learn sales, learn marketing, learn how to start a company.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know how to start a company, bro. So it's not a personal thing.
I get that.
Okay.
But do you understand why, from my perspective, and a lot of people that are watching, it doesn't sit right with them because they would affiliate, you know, you being close with him, you supporting certain things, you commenting on his posts, all of these sort of things. I've seen your social media and it's just flooded with, you know, Tell Nasser or, you know, Yarim University, and it must be a bit frustrating for you because that's not your thing. You know, you've never said join it, but like people are watching this, and I also understand how you played a massive role in influencing Nasser to do the things that he wanted, right? Like I attended the 1 year anniversary. You know, he's constantly sort of said Abu Musa's the guy, giving you your flowers in that sense. And, you know, for other people that are like, oh, you influenced this, you know, you're a big driving factor in supporting this, to now turn back, it can look, you know, distasteful to say the least.
What I would say is, look, I would never, again, by the way, like to make that clear, I have myself never said anything about, I don't understand. So you're referring to a meetup that you guys had and Nasser basically said, you know, some guy from High Wycombe.
Yeah.
And you know that that's me from High
Yeah,
Wycombe.
I
right?
know that, yeah.
I wanna make this clear that personal conversations I would always try to keep as personal as I can.
Okay.
And I wouldn't really want to talk about personal conversations that maybe we've had in private.
Yes.
Though I will just say this, that I have never advised anyone to do something haram. And I have, yes, I may have advised some, if I've advised anyone, it would never have been any I would never have advised someone to do something haram.
So you never encouraged the course for Urimi University, is what you're saying.
Okay, so what I am saying is I did speak to Nasir.
Okay.
And I said that you could teach something.
Okay.
But I never would have said anything about Forex. In fact, even at that point, I was clear in the fact that I believe Forex to be not permissible.
Okay.
Right? So it was very clear. And again, man, like those, like again, like I feel like, again, Nasir, I love the brother. Like this isn't a private...
Yeah, that's my guy. Hey, bro.
like this isn't...
I got love for you, man.
No, but this is... So
he knows
what I'm also saying is, you know, those private conversations are private. And even that conversation, it's not even me that said anything about it. Do you get it? So I've never said... I helped Nasir.
Yeah.
I've never said that.
No.
Do you understand?
But he's giving you your
but
flowers.
Nasir himself has given me flowers and appreciated it, which I appreciate myself, right? And so I'm saying that I myself haven't said it. Nasir himself has said it. So anything, conversations that we've had in private, I will always keep private.
Yes.
But what you did say is actually a very valid point. And I think it's a good point to clarify, actually. I have made some mistakes in that. I believed Forex to be not permissible, though, for example, I was following Urimi University, right?
Yes.
Again, I love Nasir, good love for him. But because I was following Urimi University now, some people took that as, I think it's okay, right? And this shows how careful we have to be as people who speak on social media, that something as little as liking a picture can be, oh, well, Abu Musa liked the picture, so he must think it's okay now.
100%, yeah.
And it's crazy because I have to be honest, at the time I didn't think of it, but you know, it shows, it makes you think, you reflect on this, you think, bro, like this how, like even the issue of manhaj, for example, this is how this stuff comes in.
Yeah.
Don't say we're for land, etc., can be taken. And you think about it and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. But then even liking a picture, some people 100% have
even
come
a
to
follow.
Me. A follow.
Even a follow.
A follow. Can
if you
be
follow
like,
certain people, it's like, yeah, he
must be okay.
Yeah, he's cool. Or like, you're condoning whatever they do.
Exactly. That you're basically saying that everything they're doing is okay now. So now look, if not saying, obviously I have love for him. I like him. He's a good guy, brother of mine, you know, whatever sort of thing, right? Now, it's orcs because he might now put up a picture and he's like, alhamdulillah, I've got a car now.
Yeah.
Right? So now I don't want to be that brer that's like, not congratulating him on a car.
Because that's your guy.
That's my guy.
That's your guy. You got.
So obviously I want to say like, Allahumma barik, I'll give you more. Like, oh, I'm happy for you. Because you want to be like happy for the brother, right?
Yeah.
But then people might take that as like, oh, so you're okay with it then?
Yeah.
And you're like, dirty. So now you're in the middle. You're like, I don't think it's okay.
But it's a nice car.
But it's a nice car.
But it's a nice car. And it's a nice yard.
And you're basically saying, a nice car.
I'm happy you got a nice car.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then it might, someone can take that as, oh, he's not happy for me. But he ain't like that. He ain't like that. So, you know, that's why. So that is a mistake on my side. I did unfollow it, not for any other reason. Again, I'm not unfollowing because, again, the love's not there. The love is there. I just unfollow it because people don't get the wrong idea of it.
Yeah.
And I think the commenting maybe was a mistake because people thought that as I am also accepting of it as well,
Yeah, and you're
which is not
condoning
true.
it. Yeah.
And so I guess I have to be careful. I have to be careful
Yeah.
moving forward. It's a mistake, and I learn from it.
Yeah, and I think that is a level of accountability that unfortunately comes with having a social media presence.
100%.
Right? Me as a normal person that's just his boy, I could comment it. I could make a comment and I could support him, and I don't have to be as wary of, you know, the negative implications of thousands of people seeing it and thinking, oh, you know, Murad's a big supporter of this. I'm a big supporter of my friends being successful. That's why I put it out, right? I do not actively promote things that I don't understand, right? Forex is something that is, I don't fully get it. Never fully got it, and I wasn't completely interested in it. Hence why I myself, as his friend, would get loads of people asking me, why are you not involved in it? And I think there's a stigma in which when you're someone's friend, you have to do whatever they do. And yeah, I hope he doesn't feel like this. You know, if I haven't got involved in this, it means I'm not supporting him. You know, if I don't buy the course or whatnot. But I think it's a false stigma, and I think friendships can be completely separate from work and whatever you do.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And the whole supporting thing and being involved, I can support you as a person and, you know, support you in terms of your success. If you ever need anything, I'm here. We're boys. But I don't have to support every single thing you do, especially if it's something I don't understand. That's my interpretation of it.
Well, I guess if you put conditions on a friendship, is it really friendship? I've always said I like to help people for the sake of helping people. And I always make this point. I've made it many a times before. I help people not to expect anything in return from them, but to expect my return from Allah, because Allah's return is unlimited.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think it's actually a mindset shift that we need to change. That if I help you, if I do something for you, if we're friends, I shouldn't expect something from you. I help you unlimitedly for whatever I can. Unconditionally for whatever I can. Whatever you can do for me, alhamdulillah. Even if you can't.
Bro, you know I got you.
Yeah.
You know I got you, man.
It's love, bro.
It's love always, bro. Like, and I let all my friends know this. I think it's difficult when you get affiliated.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you started to learn.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, getting affiliated with what someone does and saying, oh, why don't you do this? Or like conditions on a friendship as if you both have to have a particular type of interaction. Or, you know, you're a good friend of his, you should be at the forefront of promoting this or involved in this.
Yeah, I think that's why, man, it can be problematic. And obviously, I saw that somewhat in this. And, I've put out, for example, stories and saying, look, you know, I've got love for Nasir. I have love for Nasir, by the way. But that doesn't now mean I'm now also okay with what he's doing, for example, right?
Yes.
But it's tough. I guess we just have to be careful. Maybe in the future I would have to be more careful.
Yes.
And I guess you learn from it, man. I guess like if we don't accept our mistakes and appreciate the fact that we will make mistakes, we will never learn. Because you can't solve a problem that you don't know there is a problem. So
and you felt like you had to stick on your principles. It must have been tough to have to make a decision, right? And put certain content out there and say, this is haram or this is this, knowing that it could impact someone else.
Yeah, which is why, I mean, I don't think maybe people wouldn't even realize this. So even though I have not once have I said, Nasir's bad. Not once.
Yep.
Not once have I said that. If anything, I've always said, love for Nasir, my guy, love for him, etc., right? In fact, people will even write comments under the videos, tagging, him and the university and stuff, and I'll delete the comments because because it's not a personal attack.
Yes.
So if I had any sort of hate, if I had any sort of ill feelings, I wouldn't do that, right? I wouldn't therefore also say, by the way, which I have said, that technically Nasir isn't doing anything wrong until now. Of course, now there may be an issue.
Yes.
Because obviously he, Ustad said something, he went off the back of that. He's not really in the wrong too much for that at the moment. But you know what I mean? Because obviously you go to your people of knowledge. If someone says it's okay, then you
green light,
right?
It's go time.
Go, yeah. So
I'll run with it too.
And that's why I said, this isn't about him. It's just not. It's about the fact that, what it is about? It's about the fact that I was talking about Forex for years. And
I think it's unfair how he gets put in the light for it or affiliated with it.
I think you're right.
Focus on the scholar that made that opinion and ask him to bring the evidence.
To be honest with you, I think it actually, in a way, it shows that he's done great work in terms of his marketing.
Yeah.
Because, people are just like, the same way people will say good things, people say bad things, and I think that just comes with the game. It's unfortunate, but you know.
So what practical advice do you have for traders? What now? What now for people that have taken this opinion, you know, that's now gone back, that's now changed? They now might have left their jobs, dropped out of university, dropped out of college to pursue trading. They might now be making their living out of this. This is now their livelihood. What practical advice and transition do you have for these sort of people?
I would say that first thing is first, you leave something for the sake of Allah and Allah gives you something better. We have to have yaqeen in that. We have to have belief in that. Now, after that, right? So, for example, let's say someone's drug dealing. You don't say to that person, let me find you something else, then stop.
Yeah.
You say stop,
Yeah.
right? You say stop doing what you're doing and Allah will give you something better,
Yeah.
right? So firstly, you stop.
Put down the line.
Yeah,
Put that trap line down.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Turn that phone off,
Get
man.
rid of that phone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But after that, I think it's important to actually learn business. Bro, it's important, man. Like, how many people actually know how to negotiate? You know, how many people know sales?
Yeah.
Ask anyone in business, they'll say the most important thing in business is sales. You know, how many people understand how to market a product or a service? It's crucial in today's business. So actually learn these things, and then you'll be surprised when you learn the things, how many ideas will come to you, right? You'll be surprised, like you'll get a product, a service and something, but because you know how to sell, you know how to market, you'll be able to take that to market and make money. So learn before you do anything. I think a lot of people fall into these things because they just want to make money quick and don't want to spend too much time, and they think they'll make £20,000 a month and be happy. Listen, if that was the case, then well, it's not the case.
It's
not the case.
There'll be loads of them, right?
What's
Living
that?
the life, just 20k a month and all of that. And I think there's hope for those people, you know, if they are successful traders and they are making money from it, they have transferable skills. They've applied themselves at something to build up their skill set, upskill on something. They could just transfer that into other lucrative avenues. It's not be all end all now that trading, you know, as stated by you yourself, is haram. The reason why I am hesitant to state that it is haram, it is not because, you know,
So you're basically you're a trader yourself, right?
Aye, if you see 6-figure trader in the bio, know what time it is. No, I just got funded. But no.
So what's your opinions on it?
I cut this. Hey, no, I'm playing. I'll be completely honest. I don't have much of an opinion, and it goes back to my standpoint in if I haven't completely researched something, dived into it, and, you know, educated myself.
Do you have a younger brother?
I'm the youngest still.
Okay.
You tried it.
if,
You have me there.
if you had the younger brother,
If I have a
if you
younger
had the younger
brother,
brother,
yeah.
and he came to you and you said, Murad, basically I'm doing my uni thing. You know,
Yeah.
I'm still doing my thing.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm gonna try becoming a Forex trader on the side of time.
Yeah.
Evenings and weekends.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I wouldn't recommend it. Anything that there's
Why?
a grey area on, because I'm that person,
Okay.
right? I have that approach in life where if there's a grey area, I'm gonna stay away from it, especially for something that I don't understand.
Okay.
Now, I do recommend doing your research to form whatever opinion it is, but I haven't done enough research to state that.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. But I told my younger brother, yo, stay away from it. There's other things you could do. Let me direct you that way.
So now you're saying that because of the grey matter,
Yeah.
you think that it might be grey.
I know there's definitely a grey. It is grey. Like, it is
Okay.
painted fresh. It just set. It is grey.
Okay.
Like, you can't negotiate that.
Okay.
That's not up for debate, is it?
I don't.
It's definitely like, or you're definitely haram. Like, your thing is set. We all know you're on this. It's definitely haram. But at the very least, it's a grey area for people that are like, I'm not sure.
Okay. So what about if you know, away from the fact that of course we shouldn't do anything which is in the grey anyway.
Yeah.
But he says, oh no, look, I just want to do Forex trading. Like, away from, like, do you think it's a good financial thing? Do you think you can make?
Oh,
money
you were
from it?
going down that avenue.
I'm asking the questions now. I'm the host.
He took the mic out my mouth. Okay, cool, man.
He's saying you want
Just-
tissue for that sweat on the forehead.
Hey, just remember this, you know, I'm gonna get you back. I don't think you can make money.
Okay.
I personally Hey, I need a good editor, man. Hey, if there's any good editors out there, I haven't found one yet.
So what?
Shout me, I'll pay you well, because this guy's hotting me up.
We just want
This
you to be
guy
honest.
here is hotting me up.
We just the viewers just want you to be honest, Mona.
I don't. Okay, I don't.
And
think,
they will subscribe to this podcast right now if you're honest, and yeah, you're honest. Be transparent and open. That's all we want.
I don't think you can make money off trading. I haven't personally seen it,
Why do you think you can't?
and
make
I
money
don't.
off trading?
I know it's like a very simplistic mind to have, but I haven't personally seen someone that has made money off trading and actively seen it.
So you haven't seen anyone that's made money on trading?
Like, as in seen it.
Okay.
Like, I don't know for sure. And I know many people. I'll tell you why. I'll be honest. Yeah. The reason why I don't think you can make money off trading is because I know people that have done it for years, that have got funded accounts, blown it. Got funded accounts, blown it. I know people that have passed 12 challenges. So this whole thing of trying to pass and be a funded trader and 6-figure trader, I've seen people do it.
Yeah.
And I've only had examples of people that haven't made it around me that are years deep in the game. I'm not talking, and it's nothing to, whatever people are thinking about, NASA or whatever, this is nothing to do with NASA. This is to do with my life experiences. I know people that have been trading for 6-7 years. And they're like, oh, I'm getting there, or oh, I need to work on my psychology. And it's not me kicking at trader. They're probably feeling the type of way. Some of them are good friends of mine, but I haven't seen it yet. And prove me wrong. Like, I would love for my friends to be successful and prove me wrong. But I know many different people that have done it for years and nothing's come from it. And I've seen many other avenues that are financially lucrative, and there's actually a blueprint to get there.
Fair play.
That's why we're in the BluPrint podcast. But yeah, do you have any more questions for me, seeing you're the host now?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll let you off.
All right, cool. Gonna end it there.